Hey, you're listening to episode 135 of the Keto Diet Podcast. And today we're going to be chatting all about the relationship I have with my body and how it has changed over time. And if I could have listened to this podcast episode back in 2012, I would have thought that I was a cyborg now. Alien has taken over body. This is not Leanne, because my view of my body in 2012 versus now is like night and day, different human. And this just goes to show that over a couple of years, you can make a massive change in your belief system when it comes to your body, how you show up in the world. So if you have questions about today's content, head on over to healthfulpursuit.com/contact and ask me. I've put together a special resource for today's episode, which you can find at healthfulpursuit.com/podcast/E135. I've got one cool thing for you today, and that is that my newest cookbook, the Keto Diet Cookbook, hits shelves April 9th, 2019. It's a complete roadmap to preparing keto meals based on your hunger level without having to rely on macro counting or calorie tracking, complete with 141 recipes made from whole foods and 0 fancy ingredients. Plus, each and every single recipe is a complete meal with balanced keto macros. And when you pre-order, you'll be entered to win a $500 keto pantry bundle, complete with everything you need to make fat burning your number one priority. To enter, all you got to do is pre-order the book by going to ketodietbook.com. Then once you've pre-ordered the book, go back to ketodietbook.com and click on the free with your copy link at the top of the page. Enter in your details and you'll be automatically entered to win. The bundle includes cooking essentials like almond flour, cacao butter, cacao powder, erythritol, keto baking mixes, shredded coconut, hemp seeds, nut and seed butters, coconut milk, gelatin, collagen, bone broth, lard, pork rinds, avocado oil, ghee, cacao nibs, chocolate chips, chia seeds, apple cider vinegar, and a whole bunch of keto snacks too. You can pre-order the Keto Diet Cookbook by going to ketodietbook.com. There are a bunch of ways that you can pre-order, and the giveaway is open until April 8th, 2019. So when you get your copy at ketodietbook.com, head back over to that page, click on the free with your copy link, enter in your details, and you will be automatically entered to win. Good luck! Okay, let's do this thing. Welcome to the Keto Diet Podcast, the show all about keto for women so you can burn fat, balance your hormones, and heal your body. If you're new around these parts, I'm Leanne Vogel. You may know me as the international best-selling author of the Keto Diet and author of the upcoming paperback book, Keto for Women, where I'm showing you how to take charge of the imbalances that are ruling your life so you can discover your happy weight in 3 easy steps. Or you may know me as the nutritionist that likes dipping pork rinds in avocado oil mayo. I'm so glad you're here with me today, and thanks so much for listening. So we're going to be chatting all about my relationship with my body and the thoughts that I think and how it's changed over the years. And if you're like, how do I get all of this goodness? It wasn't just one thing. It wasn't just, oh, I removed all the people that triggered me off my Instagram account, and now all of a sudden I feel better about myself. No, it was a lot of steps back to back in a very short period of time that I continue to work through as time goes on. And the most transformative of these steps, as well as the time period, was like in those first 30 so days when I decided to just commit to being kinder to my body. So if you're thinking that you want to do this work too, because you're sick and tired of tracking every morsel that enters your body, stressing out about what you're eating and what you're not, and then when you don't eat what you planned, you end up binging. In my case, I binged and purged. To feeling self-conscious in a striped shirt, or not wearing a bikini because you're afraid of your stomach, or saying no to your friends because they're going to the beach and you couldn't possibly, or saying no to your kids because you don't have the energy to go and play with them because you stayed up really late watching TV, binging, like all of these things. I was so tired of them. And I just knew that I could have a better life if only I could have a perfect body. But then I thought that perfect body doesn't exist for me. And I will constantly be chasing it over and over and over and over and never reach it and never be happy. I highly recommend checking out my whole keto program. You can find out more by going to healthfulpursuit.com/whole. That's WHOLE. And I outline the 21 steps that I took in the first 30 days that really gave me that edge to start working through my relationship with my body. And I think all of us have a different relationship with our bodies. And when I was starting to play around with the idea that what I was doing wasn't working for my mental and physical health, when I was just beating myself up over the way that I looked and the way that I showed up in the world, I was really jealous of those women who just like had it all. They had a great looking body and they were so confident, and they didn't let, I assumed that they didn't let their body dictate their happiness, and they would say these things and I'd be like, how is that even possible? And I got really frustrated because I thought that they were lying. Like there's no way, or that I could never have that. Back to today's episode in a sec. Today's show is brought to you by Everlywell. Sometimes we can spend a lot of time doing the right things and get super frustrated when things don't go the way we've planned. This is because there's a lot going on inside our bodies that we just don't know about, like inflammation, allergies, B vitamin irregularities, so many things. Like, did you know if your cortisol is just a little bit too high, it can impact how you lose weight? And if your free T3, a thyroid hormone, is too low, it can directly impact your metabolism. It can be challenging to find a doctor who will order the right tests so that we can determine what little tweaks we can make to our lifestyle to support ourselves to balance. This is why I love Everlywell. They're an at-home collection service with the prick of a finger. You can test your hormones, food sensitivities, B vitamin levels, the strength of your metabolism, and so much more. These tests are remarkably easy to do. You order the kit, it arrives in the mail, you prick your finger like you would testing your ketones, drip the blood sample on the piece of paper, send it in, and voila, your results are delivered to you on their secure platform in just days. You can use the coupon code KETO, all in caps, at healthfulpursuit.com/well for 15% off your order. Unsure of the link? Simply check out today's show notes for all the deets. Okay, back to today's episode. And I struggled with that for a really long time, knowing that there was a better way, or thinking that there had to have been a better way, but not even knowing how to get there. Like, how do you stop tracking your macros? And for a lot of people, like I've chatted with many, like thousands of women at this point, and a lot of them have no trouble tracking macros. They're like, yeah, I hit my macros or I didn't. Who cares? But for me, it was such a horrible experience, because if I was under my calories, I had the best day ever and I felt like hot stuff. But when I was over my calories, I felt like a bag of fat, and I hated my body. And that sounds so harsh now and makes me really sad, because I didn't appreciate how resilient my body was. I didn't appreciate the fact that I had a drug addiction. I abused many substances. And the fact that I could still write and learn and walk. I mean, now I think just how lucky I am that my body was able to withstand that abuse for so long. And perhaps maybe you haven't abused substances, but maybe you've dieted for a very long time, and just like take a second to look at the foods you've fed your body over time, and the thoughts you've thought about your body, and the belief systems that you have built up about your body. And if any of that feels disordered, like take a step back, get out of your body, get out of your brain, and just look at it from an outsider's perspective. Is it messed up? Like, be honest with yourself. And I knew for a really long time that it was messed up, but I used the excuse of social media and other friends and people at the gym who just like had it all, and why couldn't I? And that really affected me for a really long time. And I think probably the only thing that keeps me doing this work with Healthful Pursuit is because I really don't want another woman to feel like that again. And I know that I can't take on that responsibility. And oh gosh, I've tried and I've gone crazy over it. But if there's a lady listening right now that's struggling with her body and feeling like just so lost and angry and frustrated, I want you to know that by doing just a couple of steps every day, like we're talking like 5 to 10 minutes of journaling, of asking yourself questions, of becoming inquisitive, that you don't have to struggle with your body anymore. And the best quality that people will say, if you do this work, will say, oh my gosh, she was just so confident. And when you're confident, the whole world opens up. Like, I can't even begin to explain what's changed in my life by being a more confident woman. Like, everything. I mean, starting my YouTube channel and starting the podcast and continuing with the blog and writing books. I'm now on my 4th paperback book. If I didn't have confidence, no way would I do this. Like, no way, because it's really scary stuff. But I know that there has to be somebody out there that needs the work that I'm putting out there in the world. And that's why I keep pushing and being confident and really giving everything that I can, because I want to try to help. And the relationship with my body when I started doing this work was around 2015. Like 2014, I was like, I definitely have a problem. This is a huge problem. That was right around the time that I found keto and started losing hormone weight gain because of hormone replacement therapy, not to be confused rather by bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. That's something totally different. But so I started eating keto in 2014. And then as it progressed, I started noticing just how disordered I'd become with my eating. And this had been going on for years and years and years through experiencing anorexia and also through experiencing bulimia. So I had a long history of being not so kind to my body and using food as an outlet to dealing with my emotions. But come 2015, I remember listening to a podcast episode on the Paleo for Women podcast, which is now, I think, called the Well-Fed Women. And on there, I think it was Noelle Tarr that recommended a lady named Summer Innanen for work on body positivity and things like that. So I downloaded a bunch of episodes from Summer Innanen, and I remember listening to them and thinking that this woman was totally, completely insane. Like, how can you walk around with a belly in a tight dress and feel good about it? There's no way I could do that. And I was thinking from my perspective of like, if I wore a tight dress and my belly was flapping everywhere, how would I feel about that? No way I would do it. I thought she was crazy. And now, 4 solid years later, I definitely have my moments. Like the other day, actually, I was cleaning our boat in the middle of nowhere. Like, legit, guys, there are no other humans around me, probably for at least 4 hours in any direction. And I put on my bikini and I'm cleaning the side of the boat, and I was embarrassed about my body with nobody around. I was embarrassed about my body. And that's just so ridiculous. But something I still struggle with, or I catch myself thinking certain things, or, forcing myself to fast after I had a bowl of popcorn the night before, or whatever. So I think it does take time, but in these last 4 years, my life has made a complete 180 because of the work that I've done in not necessarily loving my body. And we've chatted about this on the podcast before. I don't need to love every part of my body. I need to respect it. I need to accept the things I can't change right now. Back to today's episode in a sec. I've been a Fabletics VIP since September 2018 and just saved oodles of money on a pair of Pamela shorts, a Hudson seamless bralette, and my new favorite running around town pants, my Kerrigan joggers. If you haven't heard of Fabletics yet, let me give you the Coles Notes version. It's a website with a lot of workout wear for physical activities from the gym and beyond, and the prices are super fair, meaning if what's stopping you from getting out and moving your body is a fresh set of leggings, you can get the leggings and get out there. Fabletics Fabletics is offering listeners of the podcast an incredible deal you won't want to miss. Get 2 leggings for only $24. This is a $99 value when you sign up as a VIP. Just go to fabletics.com/keto to take advantage of this deal now. You'll also receive free shipping on orders over $49, and international shipping is available too. Again, that's fabletics.com/keto. Unsure of the link? Simply check out today's show notes for all the details. Okay, back to today's episode. And there are definitely things that I do love about my body. Like, I love that I have a body. I love that I have an able body. And when I do things that are so simple that I couldn't do, like having a bowel movement twice, sometimes 3 times a day, that's really great, because 10 years ago, there's no way I would go weeks or sometimes even months without having a bowel movement. And TMI perhaps, but like, we all know that ladies have issues with this. And so just loving the fact that my digestive system is in a place where I can have a bowel movement multiple times a day, that is such a win. And so I think we need to step away from the conversation about loving our bodies. And I see that a lot on social media. And I tried that approach and it was really stressful because I hated my body. So to go from hating your body to loving your body, that's huge. But to go from hating your body to respecting your body and accepting your body and then loving parts of your body or just your body as a whole and what it provides to you, that's a lot more easier of a process than just loving every part of your body. And, you know, I was asking Kevin, like, what should I chat about in today's episode? Because this is a heavy hitter, like relationship with my body. Oh my gosh, I could talk about this for oodles and of hours rather. But he mentioned, you know, your mind makes your body. And that's something that I talk about a lot, especially lately, of those thoughts that you think and the perceptions that you create and the beliefs that you have and those moments where you think everyone's looking at you, but really they're not because they're so involved with themselves. All of those things happening in your mind, that creates the body that you see. And we know this to be true, even based on our hormonal cycle. So if you're still menstruating, when you're ovulating, like days 13 to 16, you know, when you feel like hot stuff and your skin is glowing and your hair is nice and you're not bloated and just everything's together, chances are that's cycle days 13 to 16 or 2 days before you ovulate and 2 days after. Your progesterone is at its highest point or becoming as high, like it's ramping up. So you're feeling good. Things are magical. And that has nothing to do with anything other than hormones. And that's why a part of the relationship with my body and the work that I've done had to do with balancing my hormones. And that was made so much easier with a ketogenic diet and a lot of the tools and strategies that I share in my program, Fat Fueled. But it's really a cohesive unit and it's not just one thing. And I hope that if you're listening to today's episode and you're feeling like what you're doing isn't working and you're feeling like your mental health is suffering because of the way that you feel about your body, then you owe it to yourself to do the work. Because you, regardless of your age, you could be a 30-something-year-old, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. Every moment that you dedicate to stressing about your body and freaking out about macros or whatever that thing is for you is moments that you could be spending finding happiness outside of your body, because your body will change. That's inevitable. The body you have now is not the body you're going to have in 10 years, is not the body you're going to have in 20 years, and that does not dictate your happiness. So if we can do the work now, like right now, in this moment, right now, like 5 minutes a day out of a 24-hour day to be happier, to find more success because we're not so hung up on our body, like why wouldn't you want to do that? You know, and it can be really, 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 really scary. And a big thing that I struggled with probably for 10 years before I decided to give this a go was like, but if I have a positive relationship with my body and I respect and accept myself, then I'm going to have to live in a larger body. And I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. And that fear stopped me for so long and really robbed myself of a life that I could have lived a long, long time ago. And now I wouldn't, oh my gosh, I wish that in my early 20s, I would have found this work and done it then, as opposed to waiting another 10 years. But, you know, we all have a path to follow and a life that's lived. And, you know, if I had found it earlier, maybe I wouldn't be doing the work that I am doing today. And that means so much to me. So please don't beat yourself up over the fact that you're dealing with this, because a lot of us deal with it and a lot of us don't talk about it. And it's really just the ball's in your court to spend a little bit of time every day processing through these feelings and changing your belief system so that you can be that confident woman that is in there. She's there. She's just being silenced by a bunch of mind stuff that's not actually true. So if you're wanting to do the work and you need an outline, because trying to do this on your own is really overwhelming, and trust me, I know, I've tried, you can go to healthfulpursuit.com/whole and check that out. Again, that's WHOLE. Okay, awesome, guys. I will see you next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Keto Diet Podcast. Join us again in a couple of days to discover more keto for women secrets for your fat-fueled life. The Keto Diet Podcast, including show notes and links, provides information in respect to healthy living, recipes, nutrition, and diet, and is intended for informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, nor is it to be construed as such. We cannot guarantee that the information provided on the Keto Diet Podcast reflects the most up-to-date medical research. Information is provided without any representations or warranties of any kind. Please consult a qualified physician for medical advice and always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your health and nutrition program.